travel reality show Take Me to China, Xinjiang heads into desert mountains and canyons. There, the guests learn a few stories and legends that make the landscape come alive.
Xinjiang, the largest provincial division in China, sprawls more than 1.6 million kilometers. For a traveler, that's a lot of ground to cover.
That's why we, the hosts of Take Me to China, Xinjiang, got some help. We held a competition seeking 2 English speakers to come to China for the experience of a lifetime.
Meanwhile, we held a competition to find 2 Chinese citizens who speak English. They will represent their nation by guiding the foreign guests. 1 Chinese man with a foreign woman, and 1 Chinese woman with a foreign man.
Please join us as we travel all over this amazing land.
Hello, I'm Brendan Madden.
And I'm Dave Kellogg.
Welcome to Take Me to China, Xinjiang. As you can see, our travelers are continuing through the Aksu Prefecture. However, because this place is so big, we can't even start in the same location.
For this episode, we plan to leave the study of history and ethnicities alone for a spell. Instead, we're going to focus on some of the natural highlights of the Aksu Prefecture.
Aksu Prefecture, which is slightly larger than the state of Kansas, possesses unique geologic wonders that only recently have started to receive notice by travelers. The land is dotted with oases, but the majority of the terrain is desert. That one arid setting leaves plenty of room for variety. Flat basins, rolling sand dunes, jagged mountains, gaping canyons, and bizarre yardangs.
In terms of geologic time, where 1 million years is something equivalent to a human second, Xinjiang's current geography developed recently. The mountains of Xinjiang began to rise some 60 million years ago when the Indian plate crashed into continental Asia. From the collision folded up the Himalayas, as well as other ranges on the Eurasian tablecloth, such as Xinjiang's Kunlun, Pamir, and Tian Shan mountain ranges.
Those very mountains now capture all of the moisture reaching Xinjiang as snow, thus leaving the core of the land bone dry. Think of Xinjiang as being comparable to the desert landscapes of Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah combined, but 60 or 100 years ago, before enough roads had been completed to readily access their beauty.
That makes Xinjiang's landscape a special treasure. However, its isolation will not last. China is racing ahead of the rest of the world in terms of building infrastructure, and the nation has included Xinjiang in its grand plans.
These realities are, of course, double-edged swords. Locals and travelers should benefit greatly from the better roads, bridges, trains, airports. In other words, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah are still beautiful today, but one can imagine how spectacular their untouched beauty was before the pavement and people arrived en masse.
For this episode, our pairs will visit 2 remote sites that in the near future may be flooded with tourists. Marcus and Feline will not visit the Grand Canyon, but Xinjiang's mystic Grand Canyon.
Liana and June will visit Xinjiang's Cha-Ar-Chi Yardang, or 5-colored desert and mountain landscape. As always, both pairs had to learn a few Chinese phrases along the way.
That's a good one. Protect the environment.
保护环境。
保护
环境。
保护环境。
漂亮。
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 Oh, scenery.
Scenery.
景色。
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 I hope you guys see some Pyongyang the Jingse right now, all right?
All right.
Yes, I hope so.
All right.
See you guys later. Have fun.
Over there?
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Liana and June had the 5-colored desert all to themselves.
Do you know do you know something a little bit about this place here?
You can look. Almost the color is red.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
includes
yeah.
some yellow
Yeah.
and brown
Yeah.
and some green. Yeah.
It looks a little bit like there's no life here.
Yeah. There is a whole nature.
Oh, that's completely natural?
Yeah, nature.
Oh.
Marcus and Feline found 2 hiking partners for their journey into the mystic Grand Canyon. They joined Kiyomo, a local photographer who frequents the canyon, and his daughter, Kabinar.
We can go this way? Yeah?
Yes. It's a good place for hiking.
Yeah. It's really nice. Could you ask him maybe how long this has been a park?
这个地方那个建成有多久了？就是这个。
10年多，12年。
It's only been discovered for 12 years.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
The main scenic area is more than 1 kilometer.
The
But
main
the whole canyon is 5 kilometers long for hiking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very natural here. So what's this for?
What's this for? Yeah, you can climb that because this is a safety platform there.
Okay.
If there's like a floating.
Yeah, flood waters. Yeah.
Yes, comes. You can just climb.
Right.
Go to
Okay.
the safety platform.
Marcus tested Safety Island.
Go, go. Can you go after?
Yeah, but I don't know if I can come back down. I guess
There's
that's why
also
it's called
stairs there.
Safety Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, here is some nice rocks everywhere.
Hey, Dada.
This one? Yeah, it's cool. Huh? It's pretty rad.
Several arid locations in the world have painted landscapes similar to the Cha Archi Yardang. All of them possess their particular history in regards to how they were formed. One explanation regarding the creation of Cha Archi Yardang goes like this. A shallow ocean once covered the land, which left shells, salt, and silt to form limestone, siltstone, and sandstone. The rocks were high in iron, which explains the reddish tinges one sees today.
Here you can see over there are some salt deposits. Now I'm eating dirt. I cannot believe that.
Salt?
Yeah, it's salty.
Later on, volcanic activity formed granite layers and elevated the land to make mountains. At some point, lush forests covered the land. Eventually, the forest died and became buried by more sand and salt material due to wind and rain.
I think it's this kind of erosion in most cases coming from wind and from rain and the stuff. Yeah.
Again, the land elevated. The sands blew away, exposing the organic forest layer underneath, which by then had become coal. Sun and lightning slowly burned away the exposed coal, the residual material leaving strange rocks on the desert terrain. And voila! The 5-colored desert and mountains were formed. In the year 2000, the government named the Cha Archi Yardang a scenic area.
They don't.
So we have the nice green ones. What looks really dark green.
I prefer this one.
And this is the yellow ones. And then you have this typical red ones, but it's pretty cracky actually. You see, it's really, I'm not sure it's mud or stone or...
Now stone.
There is an alternative story about the creation of the 5-colored desert that is less scientific. It goes thusly. A famous monk, Xuanzang, was traveling with his entourage through the deserts on his way to pick up the Buddhist sutras in India. Deserts being difficult to cross, they received help from 2 goddesses dressed in gowns colored red, purple, pink, yellow, and green. As the goddesses led the group safely across the desert, the colors of their gowns remained on the landscape. And as with the first story, in the year 2000, the government named Cha Archi Yardang a scenic area. Regardless of how the 5-colored desert got here, Liana and June found it peaceful and beautiful.
Pretty special. And in Germany, I think we don't have this kind of desert.
The immensity of the mystic Grand Canyon can only really be appreciated when people are standing within it. Feline should have worn better shoes.
My feet just totally wet
Why?
Why are your feet
because it's all water.
My feet aren't wet.
My feet, because my shoes wet. I'm curious about you, Matt, because you are wearing.
Some rock features along the canyon trail have been named animals. Look closely and you'll see the lovesick elephant. Marcus and Feline sat down with Kiyomo and his daughter to learn what they know about the canyon. Kiyomo told the story of how it was discovered in the 1990s.
And how was it discovered?
One of the local sheeper, he would once he climbed this mountain, like get some herbs from this mountain.
Oh, okay.
But except the herbs, he discovered the cave.
Besides the herbs, he also found the caves. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
And he reported to the government.
Okay.
The government come here and find the cave and also discover the whole canyon.
The Mystic Grand Canyon also holds the name Thousand Buddhist Caves, but it should not be confused with the Kizil Thousand Buddhist Caves, which also lie within the Akasu Prefecture. Though not on the same scale, the caves here also attracted Buddhist monks millennia ago. A canyon caretaker explained how to access them, which felt somewhat like a racket.
名字里面都有，
是多少钱？
一人300。
Liana and June discovered their own private ravine and mountain.
Yeah, finally made it.
Tall. Then how feel the ground?
Cool.
Soft.
Yeah.
Hard.
It's a little bit soft and cracked a lot. Yeah. Actually, it looks like you're completely on another planet.
Kiyomo's daughter, Kabinar, had a final story about the caves in the canyon.
The story is about there is a princess,
Okay.
and she saw a deer. She just followed the deer, and she meet a young boy, and she asked him, "Do you see a deer?" He said, "No, I didn't see a deer, but I see a pretty lady."
Girl. Okay.
Yes, and they fall in love.
Okay.
And the boy went to the girl's father and asked him to marry her.
If he can marry her.
Yeah,
okay.
if he can marry her.
All right.
But because he's a very poor guy, and the father do not allow him to get married with her daughter, except he can dig like 1,000 cave in this mountain.
If he can dig 1,000 caves in the mountain,
Yes.
then he can get the girl. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And that man just worked for 9 years and dig 999 caves. After that, he just died. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. That's terrible.
And yes, and the girl is also very sad. He just crying in front of the cave, and became a statue.
She became a
Yeah,
statue.
she became a statue.
Okay.
That's the legend of this cave.
Hey.
How was it?
Yeah, really pretty, I would say.
How we doing?
Good. Better question is how you doing?
We checked the colors, we talked about before was green, yellow, red.
Green, yellow, and red.
My highlight, it's just a beautiful hike.
We got really in, and then we want to, to climb up a little bit, but then we are stuck.
Protect the environment.
Yeah, that's a long one. Baohu,
Environment.
Huan, I forget
保护环境
how to say. 漂亮
Family.
漂亮
漂亮女孩.
Scenery.
scenery.
Oh.
Scenery. Wait a minute. Jinx.
Jinx. All three again. She's on a roll.
Oh, God.
Seems to me Marcus and Feline had an amazing time.
That's all we have for today on Take Me to Xinjiang. We'll see you next time.